What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with game number 2 of week 2, day 1 of the Toronto eSports League of Legends tournament. We currently have in the waiting room right now Artificial Gravity and Flashpoint. Artificial Gravity, I believe, is on the blue side, if I'm not mistaken, and Flashpoint over on the purple or red side. I don't know why they say purple team up there when it is clearly the red side, but we're currently in Champion Select. We're doing the bans right now, and it's looking like Trundle, Nautilus, Zed, and Fiora being banned. You want to talk us through those bans a little bit there, Alex?
Yeah, so it looks like the Nautilus and Fiora are both top focus bans. So those are going to be helping most likely some sort of pick that doesn't want to 1v1. Nautilus is a very good split pusher, and Fiora is able to take down a lot of champions 1v1. So maybe expecting a Shen top, someone that, can go on their own up top and won't deal with too much trouble against the Nautilus and Fiora.
Now, it looks like I always, personally, when I'm playing this game, ban Zed and Fiora. They are standard bans for me. I just find that they have such a high skill cap and they are such high damage champions that if you let them snowball, you let them get a little bit ahead, give them any leniency, it's that whole thing that if you give them a finger, they're going to take an arm. But looking like the last ban coming out from the red side is going to be that Gragas. I guess worried about a jungle Gragas with probably the Runic Echoes coming out. Gragas is fairly strong as a jungler right now. But it's looking like we have some fairly standard bans coming out of this one, but an auto lock in that Alistar
is
probably support.
Great. Yeah, very good first pick. He's always going to be useful. His kit, just all of his abilities are extremely strong. Triumphant Roar, his heal, with the Windspeaker's Blessing, it's going to give you a big AoE heal in fights if you're grouped up. And the Headbutt and the Pulverize are both very, very crucial abilities that have a lot of impact in the game.
Now, with the recent patch, it did become more difficult to land those Headbutt Pulverize combos, but the great Alistar players can still land them and make them look incredibly easy. But it looks like we have the hover on the Lee Sin jungle and the Lulu either top or mid, but it's looking like they're actually going to be going for the Poppy. The Poppy getting locked in, which is once again one of those very strong top lane jungle or support picks. It's really just a flex pick with both of these champions. Lulu could be top, she could be mid, she could be support. To be honest, I've even seen Machine Gun Lulu ADC. So very, very nice flex picks from that red team, not knowing where those two champions are going to go. So looks like the blue team might be picking blindly here.
Yeah, it's good to start off with those flex picks early on when you don't know who you're going to be facing. So I like that they did that there. They can shift around their team as needed if they have multiple members that can play those champs. And they're going to wait for the other side to pick their lanes before they know where they're going to send that Lulu and the Poppy.
Now, I'm sure I'm not the only person sitting here watching this praying that I Like Pie locks in that Urgot.
Yeah,
he's not going to, but come on. This would be, come on,
Urgot.
let it happen.
I would be so happy if we had first day a Teemo and an Urgot coming through. But I think they're going to change it. Yeah.
There we go. So they were definitely taunting us with those definitely, I like to call them crowd pleaser picks. If we had a Teemo and an Urgot, but
if we had an audience in the background, we'd have a lot of cheers for those ones.
Yep, there would be some boos with the automatic change there. But I definitely don't blame them going for those safer picks. The Malphite up in the top lane offering an incredible amount of armor, tankiness, and general CC with his unstoppable force. But also having the Sivir Alistar combo in the bot lane when, of course, the Alistar lands that Headbutt Pulverize combo, makes her Boomerang Blade so easy to hit.
They're just going for a hard engage comp. Alistar, Malphite, Sivir with her ultimate. So far, they just have so much engage that is very hard to stop. But as we say that, the other side coming out with the Morgana pick. So she'll be able to at least save one person with the Black Shield, and they will not be affected by the CC. As well, they have the Lulu, so whoever they pick as their AD carry, interesting choice of the Vayne. I don't know, they do have like a good protected comp, and Braum actually coming through.
So now, I want to see, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm thinking there's going to be a Yasuo mid lane here. You just have the perfect team for knockups for Yasuo.
It would be really, really strong to see a Yasuo pick. It would be blind though, because they haven't picked their mid laner, and you might be going up against the Lulu. And anyone can really, it's more like a farm lane if you get the Lulu and the Yasuo. But Lulu does have a bit of an edge. She's just able to push out in the early game. So, I don't know. We might see a bit of a different pick in the mid lane. Looks like they have the Azir in mind, but doing a lot of swapping.
Yeah, we can never really tell because people just like to. I know that I personally like to go. Come on, do it! Just if you're gonna taunt me with Teemo again, you've just gotta pick it. We should have a rule on that. You're only allowed to swap champions 3 times, and the one that you're third locked in on, you have to lock it in.
Yeah,
But it's looking like possibly
would get their hearts broken a lot less. Their
would.
mains, people flash up their mains. Teemo mains out there are just wanting to see that pick, but not coming through in the end. Going to be the Anivia and the Wukong. And so another layer, if they had picked that Yasuo mid, even more knockups.
But it looks like they are going for a very strong AoE team fight here.
Yeah,
I'm
leaving
actually
no questions as to what their goals are in this game. They really want to just farm up their ultimates and just pile on to the enemy team until they're all dead.
So now I'd like to ask you a bit more of a technical question here, because when I see something like the Anivia, I used to main Anivia back in like Season 2, but my question being, do you think it would have been a little bit better with the terms of their composition with the Alistar and also the Malphite and the Wukong to maybe go with something like an Orianna? Or do you think that maybe Darude is just a little bit more comfortable with his Anivia play and chose not to go on that side?
Yeah, the one thing that the Anivia does offer is just that AoE slow on top of piling on more CC, on top of all of the crowd control they already have. And the thing is, the slows don't stack. And she's the only one that really has that AoE slow, apart from Alistar. So they're going to be looking to pile that all on and set up a really big Anivia ultimate that she can just leave on for a long time, because that's how she gets most of her damage off in the late game, is being able to leave it on the ground, because once you deactivate that, there is a bit of a cooldown before you can set it up again.
So I'm very excited to see. I'm assuming that
Last
it's going.
Lee Sin coming through.
Yeah, we're having the blue team doing a lot of swaps here. I would once again love to see the combinations that they're currently putting together, but I'm fairly certain that we're going to be seeing the Wukong up in the jungle, the Malphite up in the top lane, but everybody's just kind of going everywhere here. Sivir jungle? We're going Sivir jungle?
This was LCS. You only have until 15 seconds.
Yep, it's going to be interesting, but it looks like the red team not choosing to do anything
there we go.
different, but there we go. So we're going to have that Malphite up in the top lane, Wukong in the jungle, Anivia in the mid lane with the bot lane of Sivir and Alistar. Definitely a strong composition on both sides. Not entirely sure how either one of these teams are going to fare in the early portions of the game, but guys, we are going to wait for that 3-minute timer, the delay timer, to set up so that way every team can have a fair advantage here and no information can be passed on. But guys, while we're waiting, we're just going to play some audio and we're going to get into this game, and when we're into the game, we'll come back. But while you guys are waiting, definitely try to follow Toronto Esports on Twitch so you can know when we're actually doing our tournament broadcast. Go and check out their Facebook page and follow them there as well, so that we can get all the updates on the tournament brackets as they happen. So we're going to go to a quick little break here. We'll see you guys in just a couple minutes for game number 2. What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back with game number 2 of week 2, day 1 of the Toronto eSports League of Legends tournament. Currently, we are showing Artificial Gravity versus Flashpoint. Artificial Gravity being on the blue side, while Flashpoint being on the red side. And looks like, just going through the Keystone Masteries here, Wukong in the jungle going for that Thunderlord's Decree, as well as the Lulu in the mid lane. Everybody's kind of switched up here, but Fervor, of course, on both of the ADCs. Grasp of the Undying on both of the top laners. Anivia also running that Thunderlord's Decree. Windspeaker's Calling, of course, on Alistar to get that healing as powerful as possible, while the Bond of Stone onto the Braum to take more damage, and Strength of Ages on the jungle Wukong to make sure that he gets as tanky as possible. But looking like we're now into this game. Game number 2, Artificial Gravity versus Flashpoint. Very excited to see how this is going to go down. We were trying to talk about the team comms before, but looking like the blue side having an absolutely insane amount of engage on their team. But looking at the red side, you have an incredible amount of disengage for the Vayne, plus the Lulu ultimate onto the Vayne as well. Very much a protect the Vayne comp, Alex.
Yeah, it's going to be about who can execute on their comps more, because really, if the blue side can pile on all their CC on one person or even a few people, they're going to be able to take out someone. And it's going to be about the red side trying to counter that with all of their disengage. They have the Poppy ultimate, Lulu ultimate, Braum ultimate, all of those abilities very good at disengaging, and they'll be able to reset a fight after if they get piled on and they don't get fully eliminated in time.
So it's going to be one of those things that if the red team groups up and the blue team is able to capitalize on that, they're going to have so much lockdown, so many knockups, and the Anivia and the Sivir are just going to be absolutely able to annihilate the red team. But if any chase comes into this fight, the disengage coming out of that red team is going to be able to stop absolutely everything coming at their Vayne. But if this Vayne starts getting ahead, you always get scared about a fed Vayne in the late game. It's just one of those things that no League of Legends player wants to face, but it looks like the red team going for that Gromp first.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Lee Sin starting with the Poppy up top. He's going to actually mostly do it solo without a lot of help from Poppy. Poppy might have autoed once, so he's going to be a little bit behind the Wukong as far as jungle pathing goes. I'm going to want to keep an eye on his pathing to see what his plan is and why he started up top. They're going to end up at different spots. So I'm kind of interested to see the jungle pathing this game. And bot lane as well is going to be ahead. They did pick up that Gromp, so they'll hit level 2 very shortly. I didn't catch if they shared the experience or solo Vayne got it with the CS, but they will hit level 2 earlier than the other side.
Now, on somebody like Braum, the level 2 isn't nearly as important on somebody like an Alistar with that Headbutt Pulverize, but Braum being one of the strongest level 1 supports, with his passive getting those 4 auto attacks off on a champion, gets that stun down and the additional damage. So I think the red team just wanted to try to take that Gromp to make sure that they didn't get engaged on by an early level 2 Alistar and Sivir, because one thing that we have to remember too, the Boomerang Blade from Sivir is the highest damage level 1 spell in the game if you hit both sides of it. So
I don't know if it's true anymore, but it used to be the highest level 9 output of damage as well, because as you got 5 ranks in it, it was one of the highest, if not the highest, able to put out a lot of damage. But I think mostly they didn't have vision of where the enemy team was starting. They didn't know any lane swaps or anything like that, and able to get the stun off there, a lot of damage.
Great Headbutt Pulverize coming out from the Alistar though, but as we're seeing, the Unbreakable coming out from the Braum, and that's going to just stop the Boomerang Blade in its tracks. So how does the Boomerang come back when it gets stuck in that wall, I wonder? Riot physics here.
Just the magic of Runeterra at work. She just asked for it. Whoa.
So look at that burst damage coming up from this Anivia.
But she's pretty low. She does have that reboot.
Oh, and there we go. The Thunderlord's Decree with the Lulu auto attack is going to put Anivia in play here. So the passive going down onto Anivia, and now she is very vulnerable. And Anivia, one of the slowest, I think still is, the slowest champion in the early phase of the game.
Slowest base movement speed in the game. And without that rebirth available, that's going to be pretty tough for her. She'll be able to get caught out and killed very quickly without that passive.
But now, Anivia being one of those champions that, if you haven't played her frequently, with the Lee Sin, if you position your wall well enough, you can actually stop him from going through with his Q on you, and you can put him on the other side of that wall away from you after he dashes towards you. So, going to be interesting to see if Lee Sin comes to gank, if Anivia is going to be able to put that that really difficult tech on that.
Yeah, big mechanical outplays are going to be required in this game, I feel. Both teams are going to be farming up until Vayne wants to farm up for at least a couple items, and then she's going to be able to do a lot of damage in these fights. However, the Anivia also wants to farm up until very late. But we do see Lee Sin coming in, no vision. She's coming around. That's going to be a flash for the Anivia.
There's the
sure.
flash. Oh, the flash coming out of the Anivia as well, but not going to come out of the wall. The Wukong is now coming in and trying to show her some support. The Wukong is going to go straight onto the Lulu.
Blood.
There goes the first blood for the Lulu, but a traded kill.
Red
the
buff on
Wukong
nothing
picking
on
up.
Wukong.
Wukong is going to take a lot of damage here, but now the Alistar coming in, a great support roam, is going to put the exhaust onto the Lee Sin. It looks like the headbutt pulverize going onto him as well. Is going to safeguard to the ward, going to try to do some more damage, but it is going to be a kill for the Wukong, transferring those buffs over to Wukong as well. 2 for 1.
2 for 1, and the Lulu picks up the first blood. A lot of summoners burned, but definitely a huge play for the red side. Able to get that first blood on the Lulu, and good timing from both junglers to be there. Lee Sin was there a little bit early, forces the flash, and then the follow-up from Wukong just wasn't enough damage to get the first blood. And then the follow-up fight, just saw them chasing down the Lee Sin there. Good roam from Alistar, showing up at the perfect time. And that's what you want to see from your support, is knowing when there's a fight on the map and just leaves the lane. But also good wave management from that side. They had the wave pushed up, so not really punished at all for leaving the lane as the Alistar there.
So now it looks like the Malphite and the Poppy just going at it. The Poppy taking a couple turret shots while she was underneath that turret there, but the Malphite almost level 6. He just hit level 6 actually. So he doesn't have quite enough mana, I would say, to get his entire combo off, but the Poppy is currently going back, so I was hoping to see the Malphite try to all-in engage on that a little bit low health Poppy, but looks like they're both just going to go B. I'm going to be curious to see if any one of them chooses to use their teleport. The Poppy is currently walking to base.
The Malphite is going to want to teleport down bottom, so he doesn't want to use it to get back to lane. Good move by Poppy there, shoving in the top lane, backing, and then running up top. What she wants to do here is you see Malphite not able to shove the wave entirely up, so Poppy's going to want to shove that in and keep it shoved to the tower because she knows that now the threat of the TP is there with the Malphite ultimate.
So it's looking like we do have the bot lane just farming up here. We're just kind of talking about the teleports right now.
It says pause.
Oh, pause. Apparently we're pausing the game. I think
pause
there was
the stream here for a second.
So guys, looks like we're just having a little bit of technical difficulties here. We'll be back in just a minute here once we get everything sorted.
Alrighty.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We just had to swap servers there. It looks like the Twitch server that we were currently on was dropping some frames for us, so we don't want you guys to have a laggy experience, and we don't want to cast a laggy experience, so we're back into the game, starting everything back up once we get back from the pause, and there we go. We're back into it, so it's kind of exactly where we left it. The bot lane currently farming up 2-1 in favor of the blue team, and it looks like we actually just had a kill into the mid lane, so great time to come back, but Nivea was not quite up yet, and Nivea got taken down.
Very fragile Nivea there, with no flash, no rebirth, and Lee Sin just hit level 6 and was able to use the ultimate with a ward. I mean, that's a pretty easy kill, so if they can go back there before the Nivea flashes up, that should be another kill, but the cooldowns are pretty synced as far as the Lee Sin ultimate goes, so it's going to be tight.
But it's looking like in terms of general farm here, it's actually nowhere near as deviated as I thought it was going to be, but we are seeing some early leads in favor of the red team, which is starting to give them a little bit of an edge in terms of the gold. We currently have 63-49 in favor of the Poppy up in the top lane, 47-39 in favor of Lulu, 65-57 in favor of the ADC Vayne. So we are just seeing those little CS advantages, which in the end will start adding up for this red team. Currently sitting at 12.5k gold to 11.9k, so just those little leads that will end up snowballing into a much larger lead if the blue team doesn't either pick up some kills, look for objectives, or start picking up their CS game. But while that was all being said, another kill, a dive onto the Malphite. The Malphite was incredibly low already just from the poke of Poppy, and it looks like the Poppy probably dove the turret, took a couple hits, and the Lee Sin cleaned it up.
Yeah, Malphite hadn't back there at all, so still sitting on his just corrupting potion with no charges in it, and he had been trying to back, but Poppy had stayed, made sure he interrupted the backs, and Lee Sin comes for the dive to clean that up.
And it looks like while all this is going on, the Lee Sin counter-jungling the Wukong's blue buff. Taking that blue buff away from a Nivea is such an important factor, but
and they want to protect their own.
They are trying to now take the blue buff of the Lulu to at least even out the field, but I just feel like the Anivia without a blue buff in the early game to stack up that Tear of the Goddess, which she did buy fairly early into this game, is going to be an issue for this Anivia. Definitely going to have a hard couple levels ahead of her without that buff.
But you saw how important the pressure there was from bottom. They were able to push it up to the tower, meaning that Vayne had to stay in the lane to pick up the farm, and then they were able to run down to the blue side to help out their Wukong take that blue buff. So definitely good movements, map movements from them, making the waves in the right spot when needed.
A little bit of a fight going on in the top lane, but not really going to see much happening here. Both these guys, but a big fight into the mid lane. The Wukong ultimate coming out, and the Ignivia is available. The Wild Growth currently on the Lee Sin. Probably not going to go down anytime soon, but the Wukong is going to try his luck at this. The red buff currently on the Lee Sin, but not going to be enough to take him down. So that was just a traded, well, actually, it was just a passive for the Lulu death. So 3-3, evening out the kill score, but still 1,000 gold lead in favor of the red team, just simply based off of those CS advantages, which are growing by the minute.
Coming around the top side, I feel, but as well, 20 CS up on that Vayne, so we did talk about how their composition is going to be focused around that late game Vayne damage, and they're doing a good job of focusing a lot of the farm onto her, as well as the pressure, so they're going to look to keep that up and keep that farm up on that Vayne until she can get a couple more items in.
So now we still have yet to see, the thing that I'm kind of curious about here is that right now we're seeing a couple pickoffs for the red team, picking off the Malphite, picking off the Anivia, but that's kind of what their team is made of right now. Having that Lee Sin as a jungler just makes it so easy to get those picks, but we haven't seen those big 5v5 team fights, which is where the blue side is going to really thrive. So, but hopefully the red side, what they're looking for here is to try to get themselves strong enough from their picks that hopefully the team fights will also go their way.
Yeah, that's what it's all about for the blue side. They're trying to find those big fights, put the pressure on the red side to execute their disengage, because their combo is a lot easier to pull off. With that Malphite, Sivir, Wukong, and Alistar, they just have a huge wombo combo that, you know, it's a bit easier to execute all those moves together as long as the cooldowns are all up, which they're going to try and make sure of. It's going to be hard for the disengage.
Here goes the Alistar. The Unbreakable is going to come out immediately, and the ultimate coming out on the Braum as well. Glacial Fissure just locking up the Alistar for a little while. The stun going down onto the Sivir, and he is going to be taken down with that third proc of the Silver Bolts. Now it looks like the Alistar getting stunned up. The what is it called? What is his ultimate called? I don't know, but we're Unbreakable Will. That's it. The Wukong now coming in using his ultimate to take down the Vayne. He's now on a rampage, it looks like. But the Wukong not going to be locked down by the passive from Braum, but that was a great little engage coming out of the Wukong. But but it looks like Poppy now missing her ultimate and not getting the knock-up onto the low health, low mana Malphite. He did still have his ultimate and flash available, so I doubt that he was going to die, but Anivia now looks like caught between a rock and a hard place.
Lulu's just actually not going on him yet. He's just trying to hold him off.
So Anivia missing the stun, and the Thunderlord's coming out.
He picks on.
And
that's
that's going to be it. Very nicely done. Showing the Lulu mechanics, making sure that the Glitter Lance can land when that picks is on somebody, and just making sure that she was calm, cool, and collected. And that was just a very straightforward kill. The Anivia just being a little bit overzealous, trying to take a ward down in the bot side.
And I don't think she even got the ward. So,
I don't think she did either.
Yeah, at least if you're going to die, you want to make sure you get that pink ward. Also, burning flash there. So if you're going to flash from the Lulu, you want to make sure you flash before she gets that pix attached to you. Even if she just used her Q, she probably wants to put the picks on, wait a couple seconds, get that charge off on the Q, and finish off the kill, which she was able to do there.
Well, it looks like the pink ward was taken out in that rush, so hashtag worth on that one for the Anivia. Definitely important to get that pink ward down, but we're kind of just back to the standard top lane where it's just a bunch of wet noodles kind of facing each other and slapping each other for a while, but Poppy having that one assist over the Malphite and a little bit of a lead, but looks like we might be seeing a ZZ Rot Malphite coming out here from the itemization right now.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Pretty much two ways to build that Malphite. You can either just go for some kind of...
Ooh, but we're going to talk about the Lee Sin coming down. Safeguard to a ward in the brush. His ultimate's available. A great flash kick onto the Sivir, but they are focusing the Alistar first. The Braum is now going to lock her down with the Condemn as well, so the double stun coming out that bot side. And it looks like Lee Sin just doing a great job at making sure that this Vayne gets all the support she needs. 2-1-1, 0-0-3 for the Braum, 3-1-2 for the Lee Sin. Right now, it's just all the hopes are currently lying on the 4-0-0 Wukong, who definitely needs to start making more appearances and trying to get more kills for his team, because it's one of those things that it's great to have a jungler that's really prevalent and really good at ganking and getting the kills, but the problem is when all of the kills go on one person on any team, all it takes is one exhaust or one kill onto that person to take away all the damage.
You got to really work around that member.
But it looks like we already have the Braum and Lee Sin coming in for the Anivia, who does not have flash and does not have Anivia available.
No ultimate on the Lee Sin, though.
Looks like they're not actually going to go for it.
They did pick up the dragon there, however. We didn't show that, but they got the first dragon there, so that's going to be helpful for them. Scaling up to that late game with the Vayne, they're going to want to pick up as many dragons as they can. Try and get that 5th dragon aspect of the dragon. We haven't seen a lot of games been going long enough to pick that up, but we'll see if this one can go there. They are aiming for the late game, so...
And what does the first dragon do for the red team there, Alex?
That's going to give them 6% AP and 6% AD bonus, so it's not as effective in the early game. They don't have a lot of stats to make that one as valuable, but still gives you an edge over your opponents. They're already ahead, so that's going to just put them 6% more ahead stat-wise.
I forgot how great of a back animation that Mecha Malphite
Yeah,
has.
I've actually never seen that one.
That
was pretty cool.
I'm glad our observer was on there for quite some time, because I had not seen that in a while. That is a great beat. Might have to invest in that skin, but looks like the Braum going a little bit aggressive on the Alistar. Both supports are kind of playing chicken here, but looks like the ultimate coming down from the Vayne. Look at the damage coming out of Vayne right now. Going to get absolutely destroyed. The Condemn not going against the wall, but it is going to get enough to stun the Alistar with the Braum passive. I don't believe that they're actually going to get the kill on this one. Going through the Unbreakable Will is just too much damage reduction, but right now the Vayne's damage, that triple proc from the Silver Bolts was just enough to absolutely wipe the Sivir off the face of Summoner's Rift.
I don't know where that damage was coming from. He does have the Infinity Edge, so he might have got 2 crits.
He might very well have.
2 crits into the Silver Bolts proc. That's pretty lucky.
But it looks like we do have something going down in the mid lane right now. The Anivia is currently incredibly low. Did get popped with the passive.
He has no mana, but that wave is going to die soon, so he should be able to just get out there.
And the Lulu not having her ultimate available means it doesn't want to go overly aggressive, but once again, it seems as though every single time this Anivia has her passive available or her flash available, it's just going to be taken down right away by a very aggressive play from both either the Lee Sin, the Lulu, or both at the exact same time. They seem to be really trying to pick on this Anivia, which is very, very good for the red team to kind of focus on the one champion who doesn't have a great deal of escapes.
Yeah, that's how you want to deal with that Anivia, is keep track of the cooldowns, make sure you have them typed out, and you know when you're going to have to take out that egg again so that you don't get too greedy. Even there, Lulu diving a tower with the egg up, she did realize that she wasn't going to be able to take it out right away. and didn't try to overstay, but taking it out under the tower, always going to be good for you.
So here we go again, a turret dive going in for the red team. The Alistar is going to get locked down, and it looks like the Lee Sin getting the kill onto the Alistar. Look at the crit, the heal coming out, and the triple silver bolts is going to be enough for the Vayne, utilizing her passive as well to get into the Sivir's range. But while that was all going on as well, the Lulu taking down the Anivia, who didn't have her passive available, is just going to be a free kill in the mid lane. So what do you do in this situation if you're the blue team, where you're sitting with a Lee Sin at 4 kills, with a Lulu at 4 kills, and with a Vayne at 4 kills?
Yeah, when you have a late game comp like this, and okay, yeah, I like that move actually. Just hit him away from the tower. He's been trying to protect it for some time, and then you get a wave there that you know you're going to take it out. That's 2 towers down right there.
So we just had a big engagement also in the mid lane. It looks like the Wukong managed to take down the Lulu to get the shutdown, but Lee Sin taking down the Wukong to get their own shutdown.
Yeah.
So 5-2-0 for the Wukong, but 5-1-4 for the Lee Sin.
Picking up some kills, but losing all their outer towers in the process. Definitely not worth it. So that's going to be a lot of global gold for the red side.
And we're also sitting 34.9k to 26.1k. It's almost a 10,000 gold lead at 18 minutes into the game.
Another game where it just came out of nowhere. You know, that's how these games are going these days in this meta, where games are ending 25 minutes. That's considered a long game right now. So they just kind of explode around 15 minutes, 12 minutes, and usually one team is able to surge ahead, and that's what we see here, almost a 10k gold lead.
See, Alex and I being beta players ourselves, I would love to bring up the idea of back in my day, we had 75-minute games.
We've seen it all, and we've probably both had our own share of over hour-long games, and that just... I don't think I've seen that for the last 2
quite
seasons.
some time. But it looks like no vision currently on this Rift Herald, and they're just going to pick this one up for free. Vayne being the one to pick up this buff. Currently the Vayne being so strong,
I don't think... putting all resources into the Vayne. We talked about it in the Champ Select, and they are executing it very well. They were able to get her ahead in the creep score early on, and just snowballed that into an item advantage and some kills in the bot lane.
See,
One thing I will say is that the Sivir ultimates need to be popped a little bit earlier, because they're only useful if you can pop it while she's a bit farther away. Once she starts getting those hits on you, it's not going to be enough to run away from that surging forward Vayne.
I'm also seeing a very, and now correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm just seeing a very piecemeal build coming from this Malphite. Currently sitting with the Cloak, the Negatron Cloak as well, and also the Bomby Cinder with the magic resistance boots. It just seems as though we haven't seen a full item get built from Malphite yet.
Yeah, and you contrast that with the Poppy, who's 50 CS up. She's completed her Sunfires, completed Iceborne Gauntlet, so going to be doing a lot of interference in these fights, and they're just going to surge down this mid lane. They have the Rift Herald buff, but...
The Alistar coming in to try to get a knock up onto the Vayne, but not going to end up getting it. The stun also missing from the Anivia, but it looks like that threat was enough to get the red team away from that turret, which is currently all that the blue team's looking for. We're still waiting for that full-blown team fight, but Lee Sin right now in a bit of a precarious situation.
He should
at
be
the
safe
blue
here.
buff. It looks like he does have friends to kind of help him out, but if Lee Sin got into a
down
fight with
bottom.
the... Here comes the Wukong. The Wukong does end up securing the blue buff, so a nice smite from him right there, but
gonna
now he's
get
in a little bit
caught
of
out here.
problems here. The Lee Sin is going to go in onto this Wukong. The ultimate coming out of the Wukong as well is going to knock out the Braum, but it's not going to be enough. The Vayne just making sure that she condemns him right into the wall, and that's going to be an exhaust coming out of Braum as well, and that's just going to be an easily picked up kill. Lee Sin picking up that one and now getting the blue buff in an unconventional manner, but I think as we like to say it, buff transfer complete, I think is what it's supposed to be.
If you, they still
Ultimate
have that Rift
coming out of
Herald
the
buff.
Braum, though. The Glacial Fish are missing absolutely everybody, but now the Alistar caught in a bit of a bad situation here. The Unbreakable Will coming out right now. The Vayne trying to get picked off, but does end up getting stunned, but the Wild Growth coming out immediately from the Lulu, not being able to pick up that Vayne, but my lordy, the amount of damage coming out of this red team.
They haven't backed in a while, so they're going to have a lot of items. We'll probably see that Vayne finishing her Zeal item, while Malphite has the flash, getting caught out there, but able to stay alive. So, you know what? Sorry.
What a beautiful thing. We're so distracted. We're so distracted.
That animation is just too nice. I just have to enjoy it while it's there.
But the dragon being up right now, so it looks like the red team going for that one.
No vision on that one from the blue side. Alistar is, just going to put a ward down, but I don't think it's enough for them to be able to stop. They're not even going to pull it out just going to complete it with the Vayne there. Yeah, she did finish her static shiv. And
Poppy running interference, but might actually be caught out a little bit here.
No,
The Vayne
no
is
Alistar ultimate.
the
Nice
Vayne is
kick.
going to take the Alistar down inside the pit, but the ultimate coming out of the Malphite, and it looks like the flash from the Poppy is going to be enough to save her. They're going to be on the chase a little bit here, but no, Poppy taking just enough damage and then going, you know what, guys? I'm out of here. Flashing away and managing to get out of there with 1 kill on the Alistar and a dragon.
Yeah, definitely good fight. Would like to see a Malphite Unstoppable Force onto the Vayne. That's kind of why you pick that in the champ select. Their comp is supposed to just pile on to the most dangerous member, who we already talked about. It's going to be the Vayne. They knew it was going to be the Vayne the whole time, but we're not really seeing the comp come together here. They haven't been able to synergize their ultimate cooldowns and use them all at the same time in a big fight. There's the animation again coming out. So nice.
Our observer likes that one, ladies and gentlemen. But we're still just waiting to see that full-blown 5v5 team fight. Because even though they are more than 10,000 gold behind, if they manage to land everything
There's
on
still
this
hope
Vayne,
for them. They
there is
have the comp to
absolutely,
do it.
they could absolutely
Vayne
pull this
is
thing off.
doing probably 60% of their damage in these fights, so if they can take out the Vayne, which they have the comp to do, they just need everyone to be on the same page. They could definitely win a follow-up fight with a lot of the damage taken out.
But look at this, a 23-minute
early
Baron.
They have pinks all over the place, and they're taking out 2 pinks. They think that they're doing a good job taking out that pink up in the tri-bush there, but you know what? Right under your nose, there's a team taking away the Baron.
And with this Vayne doing so well this game, doing that percentage health to Baron with the Silver Bow procs, but Sivir having to flash away from the Poppy. Look at that, Poppy is just dominating the 2 of them.
Whoa,
it's going to get knocked away,
doing,
but
Poppy?
this is
should have hit the Alistar.
This is definitely putting Sivir into a safe position, but Malphite
Malphite's
also getting caught out.
too.
Does not have his ultimate available, but did not have his flash available either, so that's going to be an easy takedown for the Vayne. So now we're sitting with a Lee Sin behind the Wukong. The Dragon's Rage is available, so might very well try to kick him, but a great invisibility coming out of the Wukong, but not going to be enough. It looks like that is going to be the godlike status in favor of that Lee Sin. 2-for-0 exchange in favor of the red team, and this is just going to be them just pushing down things with the Baron buff. We're probably going to see an inhibitor on this push.
Yeah, just so much damage coming out of the Lulu empowered Vayne here. It's going to be tough to stop, and as we said, they have the disengage to potentially deal with it.
Oh, here comes the engagement. The final hour coming out of the Vayne. It looks like the Sivir's just going to go down immediately. The Anivia trying to get everybody down with the wall, but it looks like she's going to go down as well. The Agnivia just going to get melt. She's now a scrambled Agnivia, and it looks like Vayne coming in to try to take down the Alistar, trying to flash in to get a pulverized up, but the unstoppable force is going to come out of the Malphite. The turret doing work. It's actually the strongest member of the blue team right now, but it's not going to be enough to deal with the double kill on the Vayne. Yeah. It was just the Poppy even during this entire time taking down the inhibitor turret and also taking down the inhibitor, but Wukong finally managing to take down the Vayne, showing that she is in fact still human, but is going to have to trade his life for it. It looks like Braun probably picking up that kill, but while all this is going on, Poppy is just taking down the base.
He'll be able to get one, I'm assuming. Sivir is up.
Yeah, and utilizing those Iceborne Gauntlet procs, the Poppy is not a very...
I think maybe we've got a surrender coming through here.
They might very well just end the game.
Okay, so they're going to back off. Once again, lots of gold. Everyone wants to wait for their main carry, Vayne, who just was taken out. So they're going to let her finish some items. If you just look at the vision on the map, look at that red vision.
The red vision is absolutely incredible
they
right now.
They have 4 blue side pinks, but just in comparison, it's crazy to me that red vision, it's all over the map. Really good stuff to see there. And they're going to just move for that last inhibitor.
Poppy ultimate coming in, knocking down some CS, very, very important. But Lee Sin getting caught out a little bit by that Alistar headbutt pulverize.
Their team is on the way.
I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be able to do anything here.
2 disengages actually. Poppy used her ultimate as well.
Yep, the Poppy ultimate's down, but the Lee Sin is incredibly tanky. The Glacial Fissure landing on all 5 members, it seems. The Anivia being taken down incredibly quickly by the Poppy. The Poppy just diving underneath the turret, not even caring about the 4 members. The Wild Growth going onto the Poppy, knocking up 4 members of the team. The Vayne now going into final hour, taking down the Sivir. Looks like Malphite being the last, the Malphite and the Wukong being the last remaining members of this blue side. The Condemn is not going to stop the Wukong, but that last one is going to be the triple kill for the Vayne, and Vayne is not going down without a fight. Not going to let this Malphite walk away. Her team can clean up that Nexus turret, but this Vayne wants it.
For the Toronto eSports fantasy stats.
Are they gonna let the Vayne? There it is, ladies and gentlemen. It was technically a quadra kill for the Vayne. So very nicely played from this red side.
All game, good execution there, able to get that Vayne ahead. and keep her ahead throughout the whole game and work around the map, take out a lot of towers, and as we said at the end there, good vision control to light up most of the map.
And they just, the blue side, we were talking about it with their team fight, their engage, their AoE, they just never got to that stage to be able to group up and actually do anything to the enemy team. Just the picks in the early game set that red team apart.
Yeah, for sure. Just a solid game overall.
Yep.
And we're going to get right into our next game here, running a little bit behind schedule. So we're going to go as fast as we can here. So thanks for watching, and tune into the next game, which is
Supernova versus UFT.
Yeah,
so definitely stay tuned for that one. It's going to be a great game, guys. We'll be back in about 5 minutes with the next game. If you guys are waiting during this time, definitely follow